So you think that we can't get any of these guys? Well, think again. What's going on, Canes fans, and welcome to my top 5 realistic candidates to replace Blake James as the athletic director at the University of Miami. And I want to make it known that this is not a wish list. I mean it when I say realistic top 5 candidates. These are guys that I believe would absolutely pick up the phone if Miami called them up. And I think these are guys that Miami might actually touch base with, engage their interest. Now, what I'm going to do is start at number 5, which would be considered the most unrealistic, and work my way down to most realistic at number 1. Now, also keep in mind that there are other potential candidates out there that could make a top 5 list, that maybe make your top 5 list, or that could even slip into mine potentially. But I need to keep this to a top 5 for this particular video, and these are names that stand out to me personally for various different reasons that we'll discuss in this video. And please don't hesitate to critique my list, and also leave yours down in the comment section below. So kicking off the list at number 5 for the most realistic hire is current Oregon AD Rob Mullens. Now, whoa. Before you jump down my throat and tell me how silly this sounds, keep in mind that Rob Mullens is at number 5 for a reason. Would he truly ever consider leaving Oregon? I mean, he's been the athletic director there since 2010, and he receives a base salary of around $720,000 per year. And keep in mind that I said salary, just his base salary of $720K. That's not including bonuses and other things that he might receive money for. And let's just keep it real. He has a lot of positives going for him at Oregon. I mean, their athletics have been performing quite well across the board, and he's also got that Nike money. But what if Mullens is looking for a change of scenery after being in the same position at the same place for the last 11 years? And what if, just hear me out, guys, play hypothetical, humor me for just a moment. What if Miami did lure Mario Cristobal away? Could there be some type of package deal in the works to take Oregon's head coach and athletic director? I completely understand that it sounds slightly far-fetched, but as I said, he's number 5 on the list for a reason. It does put a smile on my face every time I even just think about this scenario. It's wild. It's crazy. But never say that things are impossible, because anything could happen. There's just no way to deny that it would be a home run hire by Miami. He would improve athletics across the board. Next up, coming in at number 4 on my list, is none other than Alonzo Highsmith, a name that most of you, if not all of you at this point, are very familiar with. Now, some of you may be asking yourself, why in the world did Coop put Alonzo Highsmith all the way back at number 4 on this list? His name is popping up everywhere when it comes to the Miami Hurricanes and this athletic director position. You're totally right. I get it. Alonzo Highsmith absolutely loves the University of Miami, and he's been very vocal in expressing interest in this athletic director position. He wouldn't take crap from anybody. That's a guarantee. However, Alonzo Highsmith does not bring any previous athletic director experience to the table. He's held lots of higher up positions in the NFL, but at the end of the day, it's just not the same. Are there definitely some bonuses and some pros to those positions that he's held? Some things that he could bring in that would help him be a better athletic director? Absolutely. But has he been an actual athletic director? He's not. You also have to remember that the AD position is more than just football, guys. It's all sports. So with all that being said, I do firmly believe that Alonzo Highsmith will occupy some sort of position at the University of Miami next year. And I think, though, it might be some sort of football operations guy to some capacity, or he could maybe even replace Ed Reed at that chief of staff position. And I'm not saying that Ed Reed gets canned or fired, But I'm saying that maybe Ed Reed moves on because he's expressed interest in, more of a coordinator position or a head coaching position. And maybe that is kind of a stepping stone for Alonzo to get his foot in the door and be on the staff. Or maybe they even expand that chief of staff position and kind of add some additional things in there. So I do believe that Alonzo Highsmith will be at Miami next year in some sort of way. And either way, I truly hope that we do get him involved, even if it's not as an athletic director, because the man loves the University of Miami, and I think that he could bring a lot to the table in helping bring this program back to the top. However, do I think that they pull the trigger and hire him as an athletic director? I just don't think they do. But he did still make the list because it could happen. Again, I'm not saying that it's impossible. Could Alonzo Highsmith be the next athletic director? He absolutely could. Next up at number 3 is a name that I expect many will not really know a whole lot about, and it's current AD at Washington State, Patrick Chun.
Who are you?
This is a guy that was not on my radar previously, but many of you guys brought him to my attention, and I completely understand why he would be interested in coming back to South Florida. And yes, I said back to South Florida. The biggest issue here, in my opinion, is that he's only been the athletic director at Washington State since 2018. But before that, he was the athletic director at FAU for 5.5 years, aka he was at FAU while Lane Kiffin was there, aka another guy that I'd love to see as the future head coach for the Miami Hurricanes. You see what I'm putting down? The bad news is that he was recently given a contract extension that goes through 2026 that bumped up his base salary to $700,000 per year. One of the things that really makes this an attractive option for us is the fact that he's one of the younger potential hires in his mid-40s. I personally don't want some old fogey coming in here that's set in his ways. So the list is starting to dwindle down, guys. We are down to the final 2. And coming in hot at that number 2 spot is current AD at Clemson, Dan Radakovich. So what makes this guy so intriguing? Well, for starters, he's actually a Miami Business School graduate from back in the 80s. And we all know that he would bring a ton of experience. He's been the athletic director at Clemson since 2012, and before that, he was the AD at Georgia Tech, and then before that, he was actually the senior associate AD at LSU. As I just told you guys, lots and lots of experience. This guy knows what a big-time program should look like. My issue here is he's not going to be cheap by any means. Now, I feel like that we would not be in this position. We would not have fired our AD and potential head coach coming soon. It's going to happen, guys, without being willing to, for a lack of better words, have a blank check. I do think that we are ready to spend some money, because if not, we're just going to continue this cycle over and over again every 3 to 5 years like we've continued to do. So this has to be the one. And luckily, I'm actually getting that vibe this time around. So as I said, though, this guy's not going to be cheap. Now, could we actually lure him away from Clemson? I actually, yes, believe that we could. And now, at last, we've arrived at my number 1 realistic replacement AD for Blake James, and it is none other than current Baylor athletic director, Mack Rhoades.
What?
So why in the world is Coop hyping up a dude from Baylor? First off, this guy has literally no ties to Miami. And I realize that that's leaving you scratching your head, because to many, that would be a negative. And a lot of times for me, that would be a negative as well. But also, think about how often has this alumni, former South Florida guy thing really worked out for us? I would actually be excited to think about the idea of bringing in an outsider, someone with a fresh set of eyes that has, again, no ties to the program in any way. And he's actually accomplished some pretty impressive things at Baylor, and especially considering the fact that, well, it's Baylor. He's a fantastic fundraiser that brings in a ton of money. And you know what? He's not an old fogey either. You know what? Is fogey actually even a real word? I've said it multiple times throughout this video, and it's been in my vocabulary since I was a kid, and I don't even know if it's a real word. Fogey is an excessively conservative or old-fashioned person, especially one who is intellectually dull. Exactly, guys. Mac Rhodes is not an old fogey. I do absolutely think that he would jump at the opportunity to come to the University of Miami. All we would need to do is make that phone call. So that's it. That's my list for top 5 realistic candidates for the athletic director position at the University of Miami. Do you think that my list is crazy? If you do, that's okay. Let me know down in the comment section below. Obviously, there's many more potential candidates out there that I would love to see, that I would absolutely be okay with. But this is just my personal top 5 that I came up with over the last few days. The biggest thing that I ask, no matter who it is, guys, as I said, there are other people that we could hire that I would be perfectly fine with, I promise. But the biggest thing that I ask is that we bring in someone with experience that is ready to breathe new life into Miami sports. Remember though, guys, do not forget to leave a comment down below and talk about this list. Give me your list. Talk about some other guys maybe that I didn't put in here. And then we'll also in some future videos talk about potential head coaching candidates as well. But we're going to try to keep this one about athletic directors. And also remember, guys, we're all one big happy college football family. But at the end of the day, I got to say, it's always better when you get to rep the U. Coach Coop, peace out. I'll see y'all in the next one.